So I'm very happy to have with me today Seth Goldstein, who's an attorney for Amazon's labor union. Seth, thanks so much for taking the time.
Great to be on your show.
First, I saw this was maybe a few weeks ago here, but if you could just give the audience an update on the NLRB's ruling on the Staten Island. I guess Amazon had pushed back against that vote, and the NLRB came down on the side of the workers. Can you talk about what happened there?
Sure. So a couple weeks ago, um, the hearing officer issued a recommended decision on Amazon's ridiculous 24 to our election. Remember, we won the election, that, and the hearing officer basically overruled all of Amazon's 24 objections in a 44-page decision, or I think it was 154 pages. And Amazon has now decided to go forward to the regional director. They asked for a extension of time and the permission to file a 100-page brief. And we're waiting for that to occur. I believe that they're supposed to file their brief on September 23rd. And at that point, we'll probably be filing a response. And we're confident that the regional director will uphold the hearing officer's decision. But this is, again, not about legal briefs and about litigation. This is about Amazon's delay tactics and determination not to respect the will of the vast majority of the workers at JFK8 who voted to have a union.
Yeah, and I've seen them go to some pretty great lengths here to try to
Mhm.
union bust and intimidate. I saw Chris Smalls, who's leading the union, on an interview a couple weeks ago, talking about how anywhere he shows up, it seems like the cops are there, and Amazon has been trying to intimidate him left and right. Can you talk about some of the tactics that they've gone to here?
Sure. Actually, today Chris is going up to Albany and he's going to stand his ground regarding his right to be on the property at Amazon. Chris still has the right to go into the parking lot. The decision that was issued by the hearing officer says that a fired employee still has Section 7 rights. And so Chris is within his right to his rights under the National Labor Relations Act to be on the property of the company, as well as some of the other employees that have been fired, including Joe Bryson and uh, 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 Jordan Flowers. And they have a right to advocate their position that there should be a union at Amazon.
Yeah, it's incredible that I think we all saw the footage, right, when Chris was bringing food to a union drive or something rather, and they tried to arrest him outside. I mean, it's just these intimidation tactics are really insane to me. And he's talked a bit about some of the surveillance in the workplace too, and how technology has been used to fire and punish workers. Can you talk about how Amazon is abusing technology against its labor?
Sure, they first of all, they have cameras everywhere, and when we had a tent up in front of the bus stop, there was a surveillance device that was pointed directly at us, so they know exactly what's going on. In the workplace, they have union busters on the floor walking around. They have cameras. They have recording devices. They recorded the captive audience meetings the he, the hearing on the objections. We came up with about 3 or 4 new unfair labor practice charges based on the balance issue that have gone to Region 29. So it apparently Amazon cares more about busting the union than they do about their obligations to their customers, and they spend tens of millions of dollars a year on union busting. techniques because they simply don't want to hear from their employees.
When you say a bus stop, do you mean a public bus stop that they were surveilling?
Yep, that was
Oh my gosh.
that was at Staten Island, and I think at Albany when Chris went to the bus stop recently, they again threatened to arrest him. This time it was the Albany police. The police seemed to basically serve as a Pinkerton squad for the employer. They only believe in what Amazon tells them. And we'll see today. Chris is going to be up in Albany today, and he's going to stand his ground. And whatever happens, happens. We hope he's not going to be arrested. We hope that the police will do the right thing. But my sense is that Amazon is so scared of Amazon Labor Union and the movement that we're developing. It's not just a union, that they're going to do everything they can to try to block history.
Yeah, and that a nice transition there. I wanted to ask you about the movement. Obviously, we've seen it across industry and all over the United States here with Starbucks and others as well. Where is the state of the movement with Amazon? I know the Bessemer vote had happened a while ago, and we had Staten Island. Are there other warehouses that are currently filing or organizing? To your knowledge, where's the movement at?
Chris had a phone call last night with leaders all over the country. He's having another call, I believe, tomorrow night. And the message is clear: organize, organize, organize. Now, ALU has merged with the group in California, so now we're bi-coastal. We have what's going on in Albany. There's movement in New Jersey, so the movement is spreading.
That is fantastic to hear. I saw there was some actions on Labor Day and recently a march in Seattle to the Amazon headquarters with Teamsters.
Mm-hmm.
How is Amazon responding to the wave taking off like that in terms of their public response? I know they've said that they would negotiate in good faith, I believe. Is there any attempt to do so, negotiate with the union there in Staten Island?
There's no good faith by Amazon. They have not agreed to do anything. They are going to try to get this issue into the courts, and they're going to try to throw out the election. They're copying the Trump strategy of steal the vote.
Mm-hmm.
My view is that they think that if they get into the courts, they can get the vote thrown out. They might be able to overturn the National Labor Relations Act, and I think there's even the thought that they can bring back the Lochner decision. The Lochner decision said that that employers have all the rights and employees have none of them.
And how do you view this fight going? Do you think that in this political environment, do you think the NLRB and the Labor Department are in a position to push back against this extent of union busting? Do you see Amazon having success with that?
So Jennifer Bruzio and the NLRB are doing a great job, but they're limited by the law, by statutory limitations, and also, most importantly, they don't have the staff to carry out the mission of the board. The board's mission is to protect the act, and what we're finding is that they don't have enough people to oversee all the cases that are going against either Amazon or Starbucks. I think that in some regions, most of the cases that are coming forward are those cases. I know that Starbucks employees have filed hundreds of ULPs, and so have we. And maybe that 16% increase in ULPs may be a direct result of what's going on with Amazon and Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been a number of improvements by the board, but they should do more. We need more injunctive relief. That means going to court. We also need the board to take definitive action against Amazon's prohibition of allowing employees to remain before and after work. It's called the access rule. I know that there are a number of unions that have filed charges in different regions on that issue, But organizing can be best accomplished when there's community within the break rooms before or after work. Amazon came up with some bogus story that because of safety, they were not going to allow that to happen, which is interesting because it's during the middle of union organizing. So we demand the National Labor Relations Board to take immediate action, go to court, and protect employees' rights under Section 7.
Well, it's awfully ironic for Amazon, who doesn't seem to care when a tornado tears through one of their warehouses, what that's going to do to their workers for them to have concern over safety in the break room. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I've been encouraged I've seen some polls that unions are as popular as they have been in half a century. I'm curious what you attribute that to, and if you think that this wave of organizing can continue.
Yeah, so I think that the organizing wave is attributed to organizing that's going on with Gen Z and millennials. They want a better world. They're more socially engaged. They understand that labor unions play a valuable tool in addressing concerns that employees have. They're tired of employers not listening to their concerns. They want transparency and they want fair wages. So, from what I see is this movement of organizing developed with digital organizing, with the Writers Guild, also with the News Guild. It spread to tech workers, most importantly, Kickstarter back in 2019 and 2020, when a bunch of workers under Kickstarter United, who are affiliated with my own union, Office of Professional Employees International Union, successfully got the first wall-to-wall tech union. And I believe from that, you had Starbucks and Amazon develop. And I think the new wave of organizing that you're going to see that I'm really excited about is with undergraduate workers. Our union, OPIU, organized a group of residential advisors at Wesleyan University, and I anticipate that you're going to see more organizing union drives at undergraduate schools as well as universities.
And I'm curious if you think the pandemic has anything to do with this. I talked with an illegally fired Starbucks worker from Buffalo, and she told me that one of the things that really got her store upset was Starbucks' seeming indifference when it came to COVID safety protocol for her and her coworkers. And I also think the pandemic may have just sort of, altered people's perspective on their work-life balance and things like that. I'm curious if you have any thoughts there.
Well, I think the pandemic was directly responsible for the organizing at unionizing at Amazon because of what happened with Chris Smalls, who was fired for speaking out on safety issues regarding COVID. I also agree that this occurred at Starbucks and it occurred with other employees where they felt that the employers did not care about their safety. I recall that we had issues at Advantage Care Physicians, which is a company that I was involved with, where our members had serious concerns regarding the wearing of masks and the right to take COVID leave. And when profit interfered with safety, profit always seemed to win out. And I think people are sick of that. I think people want change.
Yeah, absolutely. I've also seen you post quite a bit about Geico. Can you just bring us up to speed a little bit with what's going on there? It seems like there's a union push there as well.
Right. I think that with Geico, we have a situation where employees who have been influenced by and excited by the organizing at Amazon or organizing a union at Geico. I'm not directly involved in it, though I am supporting them. That's a group of 2,700 employees in Buffalo who are moving to unionize, and I believe they're Lilia, who is their organizing spokesperson, is doing a great job in getting signatures, and she has a committee, and she's been active in responding to the union busting activities that are going on there.
That's fantastic to hear. And lastly, I'm hoping you can maybe just speak to audience members who might be in a workplace that is not unionized. Are there steps that you would recommend that workers take if they're interested in organizing their coworkers?
Yeah, I would contact our a union organizer. I certainly, if people want to DM me on my Twitter account, Seth Goldstein 13, I would certainly refer them to a union organizer. I think it's difficult to do an independent union still. I think there's a resource issue. I support it, obviously. I support it with Geico, and I've been supporting it with ALU. But I still think that there are some very good unions that would be, Office of Professional Employees, which is mine, that would do an excellent job in representing employees, and they should reach out to them.
Fantastic. Seth, thank you so much for your time and wish you all the luck going forward against Amazon.
Thank you so much.